At that moment, everyone felt a chill and looked at Rose and then Alex. Alex's face stiffened, and his heart felt like it was being pierced by a needle. A faint feeling of regret rose inside of him. Alex shifted his gaze away from Rose's face. With a smile of understanding appearing on his face, he nodded, put down his fork, stood up, and walked outside. Walking out of the elegant restaurant, Alex looked up at the night sky with wrinkled eyes, and his heart filled with bitterness. Joe and the others tried to chase after Alex. Alex walked along the street toward the university. Both sides of the street were lined with a variety of carts and red sheds with dim yellow light bulbs hanging from them. Passing through the couples, Alex felt a little lonely. He lowered his head slightly and quickly crossed the street. He walked onto the campus and headed towards the dormitory. Mark Stevens, Alex's family butler, called as Alex tried to lay down on his bed.
Alex, the person in charge of the East Coast Division, Ken Stokes, knows that you've been in poverty training in New York for many years. He hopes to meet with you.
Alex's family business is centered in the United States, with businesses and influence all over the world, including South America, Western Europe, Africa, and East Asia. That's okay, Alex said with his easygoing personality. Since there wasn't anything going on at the moment, Alex added, "It would be good to see the people working for my family."
All right, I'll notify him right away and ask him to meet you at Preston University then,
Mark suggested. "No need, Mark. I'll go see Mr. Stokes. It's not convenient to meet at the university," Alex replied, rejecting Mark's suggestion. It would put on too much of a show if Ken, the head of the family's main district, came to the university to meet with him. Alex didn't want to look too flamboyant, and he still wanted to stay at university for a few more days to live a peaceful life.
Alex, you are a descendant of the family. It is not in line with the rules for you to go see him. Ken is just a person in charge of a large area. How could I bother you?
Mark said in fear. It's fine. Mark, you're overthinking it. I just want to take a walk around the city. Don't worry about it. Alex didn't care much for these formalities.
Alex, you treat your subordinates well. I'll speak with Ken now,
Mark said with a grateful voice. Okay, Alex said and hung up the phone. Mark called back right away.
Alex, Ken will be having lunch at the Plaza Hotel tomorrow. Would it be all right for you to join him there?
Tomorrow works for me, Alex replied. After hanging up with Mark, Alex laid down on the bed and played with his phone for a while before falling asleep. He woke up to the sound of voices, squinted, and saw that his roommates had returned. Zane is such a pain. He still has to go sing after dinner. He's got such a bad voice, Ben cursed. When we came back, it was already raining. He couldn't have taken Rose out for a ride on his motorcycle, right? Carl Cooper frowned as his glasses reflected the lights. All right, go wash up and sleep. Stop being so noisy. Joe saw that Alex was sleeping and whispered to Ben and Carl as they went to wash their faces. The next day, when Alex walked out of the dorm on his way to class, the ground outside was already wet and the air was fresh. After his second class, Alex felt he needed a rest and went to his dorm. He was getting ready to put his head down on the desk when Joe hastily ran in. Something happened to Rose, Joe exclaimed worriedly as he ran over to Alex. What about her? Ben asked with his mouth wide open. Rose was too much, wasn't she? One incident after another, Ben thought to himself. Did she fall yesterday? Carl asked without shock. How did you know? Joe asked, feeling slightly shocked. It rained very heavily last night. If they were on a motorcycle, it would be very easy for something to go wrong, said Carl as he pushed up his glasses. Yeah, I was training on the sports field just now. Susan called me. She said that Zane took Rose out for a motorcycle ride when the ground was too wet. They ended up in the hospital last night. Their dorm went there early in the morning. She told me to go visit too, Joe told him in one breath. Come on, let's go see her now. After all, Rose had invited us to dinner last night. Joe patted both Ben and Carl on their shoulders. Let's go see her, said Ben as he and Carl stood up. Alex, are you coming? Joe looked over at Alex, who was just sitting there in his seat. You go ahead. I still have some things to take care of, Alex said, shaking his head. Yep, good, said Joe. Having learned from yesterday's lesson, Joe didn't force Alex to go. He followed Ben and Carl to the dorm room door, waved goodbye to Alex, and with that, the three of them disappeared. Alex got up and walked out of the university. He called a taxi and went straight to the Plaza Hotel. It was considered one of the most luxurious hotels in New York. Although New York was filled with tall buildings, this square glass building was quite eye-catching. The hotel's plaza that surrounded it was filled with all sorts of luxury cars. Alex walked towards the door of the hotel. When he walked in, he found that the door, which seemed very low from a distance, was as tall as 2 floors. The hotel interior dazzled in gold and jade. The grand crystal chandelier, golden lights, beige floor tiles, bright red carpets, and exquisitely dressed service staff were all showcasing the extravagance and richness of the hotel. Alex stepped onto the 2-meter-wide red carpet and walked towards the elevator. As the elevator doors were slowly closing, Alex saw a woman with flawless makeup running toward the elevator. He quickly pressed the button to open the doors. She had long and beautiful hair, snow-white skin, and long eyelashes. She wore a pink chiffon sweater and a pair of tight jeans with a diamond necklace hanging from her snow-white neck. She looked very full of energy. Alex stepped to the side and let the beautiful woman walk in. He could smell the scent of her expensive perfume. Her walk drew attention to her curvy figure. Alex had only seen this kind of beauty on his computer before. He was stunned to see a real-life woman like this in front of him. The elevator door closed, leaving only Alex and this long-haired beauty inside. With such a stunning beauty next to him, Alex's heart was moved. Unknowingly, his gaze had secretly drifted toward her. "What are you looking at?" she exclaimed as she turned her head and stared at Alex. Nothing." Alex was shocked. When her flawless face appeared in front of him, his heart jumped as if it were about to fly out of his chest. It startled him so much that he quickly stood up proper. Her face turned red when she saw Alex blushing from her remark. She turned back again to face the mirror-like wall inside the elevator. Fiddling with her necklace and bending her face slightly closer toward the wall, she puckered her lips to check her lipstick. Alex had already warned himself not to look at this woman anymore. But now that she had moved, her butt was even perkier than it was before. How could he bear it? He secretly reached out and touched her butt while sneaking a few glances. "Are you still looking?" She turned around and asked aggressively, stopping only a few centimeters away from him. She trembled slightly, and Alex could feel a trace of her warmth. Alex's heartbeat quickened, and he felt a sudden hot sensation in his nose. Blood began to flow out. He quickly raised his head. "You have no future. Oh, you're bleeding from your nose?" Seeing this, she was no longer angry. She crossed her arms and looked at Alex with a smile. Alex felt his nose itch. "Achoo!" Alex couldn't help but sneeze. "Yuck! Why are you so lacking in manners?" she shouted. Alex opened his eyes and saw that he had just sneezed, spurting blood from his nose onto her chiffon sweater. Sorry. Alex quickly apologized and took out a tissue to wipe the blood off her sweater. Alex's hand almost touched her chest. He had even wiped it twice with a tissue, but in less than a second, his attention shifted. So big, so soft, he thought dreamily. "What are you doing?" she shouted while angrily glaring at Alex. Alex still didn't react. "Pervert!" she cursed angrily as she raised her hand and slapped Alex across the face. At that moment, the elevator reached the top floor. As soon as the elevator door opened, the long-haired beauty ran out toward the bathroom. Alex touched his hot and painful face, looking at her back. He was slightly dazed. The 5 fingers across the face were all worth it. Alex couldn't help but recall how he felt when he put his hand on her chest. Alex followed her to the bathroom and waited for her at the door. He wanted to apologize. "I'm sorry, I didn't do that on purpose." Alex hurried forward to apologize as he saw her come out. "Scram! If it wasn't for the important guests I have today, I would have you sent to the police station." She didn't accept Alex's apology at all. She pushed him away and quickly walked forward on her heels. Alex staggered as he looked at her back. He scratched his head and went to take care of his nose in the bathroom. Then he slowly walked to room 888, which had been arranged for his meeting with Ken. Room 888 was already filled with people. Ken Stokes, a well-proportioned and middle-aged man, stood at the door of the room. He chatted with the general manager of the Plaza Hotel. "Are you ready?" The general manager bent his body slightly forward and respectfully said, "Everything has been prepared according to your directions. The only ingredients for the meals you brought this time were an eye-opener for our hotel. You are the only one in New York who can find so many precious ingredients." Ken didn't pay any attention to the general manager's flattery and simply said, "A guest is about to arrive, so go busy yourself." As soon as the general manager left, the long-haired beauty ran in. When she saw Ken, she walked up to him as if she had made a mistake. "Mr. Stokes, I'm late. Sorry." "Sit down." Ken looked at her speechlessly and sighed. "Luckily, Alex Ambrose still hasn't arrived. Otherwise, I would have lost face because of you." She smiled apologetically as she sat down in silence. Ken stood at the door of the private room and waited anxiously. A moment later, Alex casually appeared in the corridor. Ken was startled and rushed over to greet him. "Mr. Ambrose, you're here. Come in, come in." After being respectfully invited by Ken, Alex walked into room 888. Everyone in the room stood up. Most of them wore suits and were in their 40s or 50s. They were all upper-class people from New York and the surrounding states. "These are all people who work in the East Coast Division." Ken introduced them to Alex and then said to the others, "This is Mr. Alex Ambrose." "Greetings, Mr. Ambrose," they said in unison. "It's him," thought the long-haired beauty. When she saw Alex, her eyes widened in disbelief, her entire body filled with unease and apprehension. Had I just shouted at the family's heir in the elevator?
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.